Okay, trying this one more time. So I wanted to show you that cannas are the growers even with a little bit of dirt. So now I did dig these cannas up and I did not have a plan for them. And so I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna throw them in the bucket, and if somebody wants some, they can have some husk or whatever. But these ones are trying to flower within this bucket. Little dirt. I mean, almost no dirt in there. Almost absolutely no dirt. So, but they are in contact with a little bit of soil, from when I dug them up. Um, and they're trying to flower. So, this plant, if you are a plant lover, but say, oh well, I kill every plant. Oh, plants just don't survive with me. Blah blah blah. Get you a couple of these cannas, and you don't have to go buy them. Um, if you have a neighbor with a canna plant and they don't mind giving you some, ask them, because this plant is so bountiful. You could probably ask a neighbor for some and they would give it to you because it's so bountiful. It will keep giving, keep giving, keep giving. But if you don't have a neighbor with this particular plant and you want to go buy some, that is fine. I wouldn't spend more than $10 on a canna. I just wouldn't. Um, but if you want it for the right now, the right pretty immediately, they do cost about 20, 25, $29 for the right now in the pretty, because it has the foliage, it's not the husk. But the husk you can buy a lot of times in some places, Walmart, Lowe's would sometimes even have the husk on sale, um, for about $10. But I would try first to find a neighbor with cannas and see if they wouldn't mind giving you one of their husks, which this little plot probably has over 100, over 100, and it's very giving. So I dug up uh, a bush, two bushes of them, and I gave it to my son's school. And then I dug up some more and gave it to a coworker. But before I give these away, I always explain that this is it can be considered an invasive species, and also will take over an area if you don't monitor it, or if you don't bury it a little bit deeper than the recommended. So if you bury this plant about 12 inches in, for me, I have noticed that it will try to stay in that one little area. It doesn't venture off. But if you bury it above 6, it is going to try to just go wherever. It'll take over. So here is one area where I did that, but I have noticed that it won't jump the other plants. Oh, I hope I didn't get my neighbors' houses. That's why I keep starting this video over, because when I pan, I accidentally get the roofs of my neighbors' houses. But anyway, so this one, I didn't bury these too deep, but it continued on. But I have noticed it will allow other plants. So if it maybe it's a signal the other roots are giving it, so it won't come over any further, but it'll continue getting fuller in here, but it won't come over any further. I have noticed that it does stop, so it's not so aggressive to where it'll kill off your other plants, but it is a fast grower. I really like this plant, and matter of fact, this one I had in the greenhouse. I had in the greenhouse and I took it out of the greenhouse and put it back here because I was like, ugh, the city's not coming. Kind of lost a little bit of that faith, and I was like, let's go ahead and put something out here. And look at her. She's like, yes, yes, I like this wet area. Because it does, whenever it rains, that rain, it takes quite a minute to go ahead and get out of the yard because of the horrible drainage situation I got going on. And then I was like, oh, let me just add a few more. Drop some more cannas there, and that's a more. Now this one was growing in the greenhouse. It was in a bucket. I say bucket. One of my cloth uh, flower pots, and I do have some of those if anybody will want some of those. So I do have some of those, but that one was about a 25 galloner, and I was digging it up, but I wanted to save some for this season because I was just digging up corms and husks, and I was just digging up everything because I knew I was going to start from scratch this year. Because I had plans. I was like, oh, you're going to be a master gardener. You don't just need to do elephant ear corms. They're so easy. But I quickly got sad when my neighbor expressed that she had never seen any elephant corms, and she admired me and she watched me, and she was glad that she was able to speak to me this year. And now I am friendly, but I guess I'm not, well, I'm neighborly. I don't know the term that I want to use, but I am friendly. I will speak to you. I will give to you. I will give to almost anybody. But I stay to myself. And on the weekends, I am a weekend garden warrior. So I am out in the yard trying to figure out what's next. What can I do? Can I add some more? Will it be too full? So I'm moving things around. My elephant ears last year were all along this parameter, just all along there. And then I did have the cannas on this side. I do like to see the ground. So we had a couple of snakes, and so I will be out and I trim back so that way I can see the ground. Um, but I'm always in boots, so I don't come out into the yard without my rain boots on, or some type of rubber boot on because of the snakes, just in case. I used to, before I knew that the snakes would keep coming. uh, Uh, and then I put the snake be going down last year, but it's been so wet this year that I'm having a hard time figuring out when to actually put the snake be going down. But anyways, so a little bit saddened that I took away a part of someone else's joy, even though it's mine's. Uh, it just made me a little bit sad. I was like, oh, well, okay, I'll get a few more back and see if I can get them to do what they did last year. And these seem to be doing okay. They are at the tallest. She's about 4 foot. Cause I'm still taller than that one. So she's about 4 foot. Now this cane, like, I am shocked about this cane. Now that was one of the ones that I left in the ground. But I do a heavy chop because they get a little nasty once it gets cold. So they're browned, and I don't like the look of it. So I do a heavy chop so everybody gets chopped down. And I don't know if that's the way to do it, but she is coming back like a beast. Now, I did remove a lot of the other foliage, which I'm wondering if, um, or husk. I removed a lot of the other husk, but I'm wondering if she is so big is because she has more room to grow. So these are limited, and now they're bushy, but they're not. The leaves aren't as large like her. Her leaf is almost as big as a elephant ear leaf. You see how big that leaf is? Anyway, let me start another video.